Hey everyone, welcome to the Late Late Horror Show. Today we're talking about time travel, Man Markham, Single Seven, all the fun things in this world about time. Um, did you know, Dino, that I had a Jacob's ladder?
Um, no.
It used to be a David's ladder, but I let someone borrow it, so I borrowed Jacob's.
God, that
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
wow, I left my audio. Oh, and Dave has disappeared somewhere
I
into the
jumped this
future.
time. I had to get my coffee.
He was somewhere in the future. Is the coffee still just as good as it was 5 minutes ago?
It's just as good, but I found a weird screw.
Oh, yeah. We'll be talking about that. Madman Markham. Hello, we haven't done an Art Bell tribute show really in a long time.
That's right, first time this year.
Yeah, and it's been years since we have. Real quick, we got some gifted memberships. The Buzz has gifted a membership at level 2 support. Old Mandy, oh no, Old Manoli got it. Is that what's it? Old Manoli, Monopoly. Thank you, The Buzz.
Man,
Thank you. There you go. I don't know. Listen, so it's been a long time since we've done Art Bell, and this is going to be fun talking time travel. And Madman Markham is probably, and after listening to it again, though, I'm like going, I mean, there's way better shows, but this one hits a nerve with people, and people really liked Madman Markham episode.
likewise, I hope he made it through puberty
Oh, I got some updates on him, but
because that voice of his was not good.
he was 21 years old in 1995 when he was being interviewed. 21 years old. Yeah, and he's stealing stuff. He's $30,000 Transformers. I mean, it was not good, Dave. But
it was not. It was going down a wrong pathway.
And what was it? It was Madman Markham, but I think his name was Michael.
Oh yeah.
Michael, Madman Markham. A little later, like maybe like a quarter into the show, is when Art Bell kind of goes, have you ever been called Mad Markham? And laughs about it and stuff like that. But Dave, I'm going to let you. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat first. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Memorial Day. I didn't even say welcome to the Late Late Horror Show, and this is Paranormal Into the Night on the Late Late Horror Show, and where we talk about Art Bell and paranormal type stuff. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Let's get us to 25, and
I think we can hit 30.
I think we should be able to do better than that. But
that tune, but in reverse.
There you go. Also, for the people here picking up Wednesday nights, we are going to be doing. I'm going to start up like we used to for years. Game nights, trivia nights, and all that other good stuff. Have the horror icons. Would you rather this Wednesday coming up after Memorial Day? And some paranormal would you rather the following week. So every Wednesday, plan on that. And in 2 weeks after my son's win state, I'll probably be picking up another night. So lots more to do and watch and see and have fun with on the channel. With that said, let me say hello to all of the people in the chat. Chris W., what is going on? Cat Small, Connie, Harry Scott, good to see you. Abdullah, Ed Stathis, They're all coming on in now. Good evening, everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yes, hopefully cook them hot dogs, medium rare burgers, whatever you got on the grill. Albert Jacobs, good to see you. Vicky, good to see you, Vicky. Don't want to miss anybody. And of course, the Buzz. Thank you for that gifted membership for sure. And I'm excited for the game nights. Would you rather? Those are going to be fun. The one we did last week was so much fun, Dave.
It was a lot of fun. And I came back and you did a whole nother hour.
I know.
That was a lot of great stuff.
I was hopped up. Yeah, move in a little closer, Dave. Don't be so shy. You sound like you're like way back on the other side of the house.
I could move my microphone closer too.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. So yeah, there you go. Let's get right to it. Whoa. I got some feedback. See, this always happens on our paranormal shows. I don't know what's going on. Dave, give us start us off. I can't wait to talk about Single 7, even though he's another time traveler that Art Bell interviewed, and we'll touch on him towards the end. But Dave didn't even care for that. I thought it was a little bit more interesting than Man Markham, but let's talk about this loony bin, Dave.
A couple people came in late. I don't know if you said hello to Gigi or Becca.
No, Becca. Hello, Becca and Gigi. Much love to you, Gigi. Thank you as always. Yeah, I enabled on phones and tablets to where you can give like gift jewels and stuff like that, and it's a fun new feature, I guess. I don't know if you want to play around with it. Feel free. Anyways, Dave, what's going on? Art Bell.
Yes.
Give me a rundown on this Man Markham BS.
Not even going to do that yet.
Okay.
I think it's important for us to talk about who Art Bell was.
Yes.
And what he did for us.
Yes, we can touch on that again. Yeah.
Well, thank you, because it's been almost since last year since we did.
It's been a while, so yeah.
Art Bell is a paranormal talk show host that would be on many times all night long. His show would start around 10 o'clock at night, and he would go until about 3, 4, 5 a.m. And he'd broadcast out of his home, which was in Pahrump, Nevada. It's just an hour outside of Las Vegas.
Kind of like we do here out of our homes, but you know.
Exactly. But we don't have the towers like he did behind his home.
Oh God, yeah. He had like a 1,000,000-watt tower. Oh no, he would beam to other planets then, but no.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he would do programs, everything from open lines to UFOs. He would have wonderful guests on, such as Bob Lazar and George Knapp. He
talked about all the great stuff, ghost stories, Ghost to Ghost, and Father Malachi Martin and stuff. Yeah, great stuff.
It didn't matter what he was talking about. It was always interesting, and he could make it interesting. And he would even like a couple of times kick some guests off. Like, you know what? This isn't working.
Oh yeah, I loved when he did that. He would just like, yeah. Well, he could catch the BS. Listen, not that stories like, and I'm not even. Well, I guess I am saying Madman Markham. That I think this is BS, but you know, yeah, I do. I really do think it is. And we'll get in to start talking about it. We can debate it and you can tell me your side of the story, and then I'll give you the real side of the story.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking. But no, it was definitely interesting. And but yeah, Art Bell. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody like him. I don't think we'll ever have anybody like him ever again. I could be wrong. I mean, you got Joe Rogan out there he's interviewing, and he's interesting, but he's not as personable and like Art Bell was. But I do like Joe Rogan when he interviews the people on UFOs and stuff like that.
I love Joe Rogan's broadcast. He just does too many other things.
Yeah.
Just did paranormal. Holy moly.
Oh yeah.
Like last week he had David Paulides on.
Yeah.
Missing 411. That is amazing stuff.
I just listened to that. Yeah. Yeah. That podcast. And so interesting. Years later, after being on Art Bell and hearing what he had to say again and the interesting facts that they get out of that. But yeah, I will mention too that we are always live on the Facebook page, the Late Late Horror Show, and on X under the Late Late Horror Show. So we're streaming on all three and YouTube here where we're at. So there you go.
And I do agree with the buzz that George Norrie is unlistenable.
Oh, God, without a doubt.
And that George Knapp is so much better. And I would have loved to have had George Knapp or Ian Punnett take over the Art Bell Show.
I agree 100%. Gigi, much love to you. Thank you very much for the gifted memberships. 5 gifted memberships at level 2. Thank you. Let me look at the names. Thank you very much, Gigi. I really do appreciate it. And it all goes to support the channel and allow me to do these. And which the channel is going to be picking up again. Every evening podcast as well. Games, trivias, and Would You Rather. So there you go. Kathy, hello. So Gigi, can't thank you enough. Thank you. And Kathy is here. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. Yeah, Kenneth is here. Good to see you, Kenneth. But yeah, let's get into this. George Snorri. Yep. 100%. Madman Markham.
All right.
Dave, take it away. Where do you want to start?
Let's first of all decide what state is he in. Is he in Missouri? Is he in Kansas? Is he in Kansas City, Missouri? Which is where he is. He is just outside of Kansas City, Missouri. As Dino mentioned, he's about 21 years old. He's been to a couple years of community college, studied electrical engineering, and then decides to start building things because he doesn't have anything better to do.
21 years old. Let's keep going.
And the first thing he does is he starts to just build basic ideas like circuit boards, things like that. And he builds a Jacob's ladder. And a Jacob's ladder is kind of,
Frankenstein's laboratory.
You have 2 little things, they're wrapped in wire, and you have the thing going on.
Yeah. Jacob's ladder, your typical scientific, technology. It's been around, Tesla forever, so
I'd like to talk about Tesla a little bit too.
Yeah. But listen, I don't mean to keep laughing about Madman Markham. It's just when I listen to the show, it's a great show. It's nice to listen to. It's interesting. And Madman Markham, Michael, I don't even know. We should just call him Madman. He is very. But see, if you're an actor, you can put it off as being. You heard my vampire, act. If you can act like you're really telling the truth, I guess you can pull it off. You can pull it off. And he was calm, collected, and he matter of factly, and he does got a lot of things that back him up, but that doesn't mean what was going on is true, because he really did steal these transformers. There's police reports on it, but go ahead.
I actually will believe him up through this episode, but after this episode, I will tell you that's where I don't believe him.
Okay.
But
the second interview that he had?
Second interview and then his disappearance and things like that. I think that's BS promotional weird stuff going on.
The story behind that. Yeah, we'll touch on that real quick too after talking about it.
I mean, I thought pretty believable in terms of knowing amps, volts, watts, things like that. He knew electrical engineering.
Oh yeah. He was knowledgeable on some stuff, but
But then, I mean, all I can think about is one of these back road hillbilly homes.
Is it the birds? They attacking again? The parrots coming?
Hippie Hedron's knocking at the door, man.
Let us in, Dave. We want seed. You have seed, and we need seed. Hey, that's what the aliens do too. They come knocking on the door and they go, "You got seed. We need seed."
Sometimes they don't even knock; they just take right up.
Oh my God!
Yes,
That's what's good about the second interview, Single 7. There's the Mims. The Greys are they're called the Mims in the future. But anyways, let's get back to Madman Markham. The Mims.
all right.
But can you imagine a bunch of scientists sitting around and going, the Greys just don't cut it anymore. We'll call them the Mims. He didn't say it meant something like mechanico, it just was the Mims. Anyways, I'm sorry, Dave. Let's get back to it. So he starts to add things to this Tesla coil.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this guy. He's a kid. He doesn't have a date on the weekend because he's just working at home on his little, like science kits. God bless him. And he starts
chemistry lab.
I have a CD player. I'm going to take this apart and make, lasers out of it, which is great. Yeah. And then, like, he starts talking about getting quote unquote unexpected results. And he starts then literally throwing a metal screw.
Well, what didn't he add the CD player? He added lasers to it.
Right.
Okay. Hello, Sandy Bofa on YouTube stream. Thanks for dropping this Art Bell discussion. He's a real favorite of mine since you guys introduced me to him. Oh, you better believe it. So much to listen to. Ooh, yeah, coffee. I could go for some coffee right about now. Anyways, yeah, so he said he used a CD laser, like from a CD player or something like that.
He did.
Didn't explain too much, and right? I mean, it just started talking about integrating the laser with the Tesla coil. I don't know how he did it. He didn't say, did he?
No, there were a lot of gaps.
There were.
He started off talking about his Tesla coils, and then he moved outside for the larger Tesla coils that are about 4 foot tall and wrapped like 400 times with wire. And then when he did his experiments outside, all of a sudden the machines like started smoking and catching fire and things like that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of drama with him. So I can see why people would think, he's kind of probably overdoing it on the fakeness if you think it's fake.
Yeah. Hey, Bubba, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, no, I think the gaps on what he says he adds and stuff, he's building up the voltage. So the voltage is getting higher and higher. You were going to say something, Dave?
No, I can see now why that it could very well be fake. Because it's not a consistent flow of a story. It's like, I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm adding this. And, Art's just kind of like not even questioning.
Right.
This guy is saying, and Art's really smart when it comes to electronics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that, it's the part of Art Bell where even if it was BS, but the guy sounded legit because of like the voice. He sounded like he was all wrapped up into this, and he was giving some good answers and stuff like that. Even though Art Bell wasn't diving into it too well, saying, "Hey, back that up. How are you integrating the laser with this Jacob's ladder? And what's that got to do with the Jacob's ladder? You create the electricity, but how is there an image of this thing? There's got to be somewhere of how it was built."
I only found images of Tesla coils, so I didn't see anything particular to Madman.
Okay, that's the one thing I didn't do. I didn't look up like for an image of what he built, but I probably might not be one out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw images of him, and I can just say, well, we were all young once.
Well, and when he threw in that I started using the laser from a CD player. I'm like going, well, how much power or heat or anything are you really going to get off of a CD player? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he starts talking about the heat waves, like there's waves and distortion above around the laser itself, which I don't know where the laser was going to. I guess into wasn't it a box? Because there's a screw that he starts messing around with, and that's the whole big part of this.
And
So
that didn't even make sense
no.
because he throws this basically, is it a machine screw? He called it something particular. Metal screw.
Yeah, I think just a metal screw, just your ordinary metal screw.
And then he says, like, at one point it disappeared, but it only disappeared for half a second. I'm sorry. You can blink, and that's half a second.
Okay, I think this is what it was. I think it was a box of sorts, because he started putting he said he put small animals in there, like a guinea pig, I think he said, hamster.
In the second interview, he does.
Does he? But not in the first one. Okay.
First one. In the first one, it's just this metal screw, and they don't know if it like jumped in time or whatever, but it disappeared for half a second. Then it came back, but it came back in, like, at one point he says it came back in a different location, things like that. And then he starts talking about like the Philadelphia experiment.
What up, J.O.P.
Ew.
Yes. Now that's a topic, but when it comes to Madman Markham, it's Jacob's ladder, it's a CD player laser, and he ionized the air and stabilized stabilize the arc in this area where he ends up throwing a screw in a hamster. I think, I swear to God, I heard a hamster. The second interview,
That's like an orange, a
yeah.
hamster, maybe even a cat, but I'm not sure. And then in a later interview, it's himself. The last we hear about him is he's going to jump into the field itself.
Yeah, he said the metal objects just acted weird and would move around. They would briefly vanish when he threw it. I don't. Again, yeah, it must be some like portal window box type. I don't know. I don't got an image, but
one of the callers calls up and says, "Hey, is it time traveling or is it like Star Trek transporter type of, a situation where it's not time travel, it's just moving from one location to another, like a time jump." I don't know.
I think that's all mixed up in the same kind of thing too, though. Time travel, portal. We could talk about black holes when we get to talking about a little bit more about time travel, but all sort of, time displacement, matter displacement, I mean, very, very intricate and complex theories on the subject matter, and nothing concrete, of course, but many theories have been put out there on how could we time travel? There's your basic, you run fast enough, or you go fast, not run. Who the hell's going to run fast enough? But go fast enough, and then you're going to outdo, you're going to pass yourself, whatever. Anyways,
Well, that's never mind.
okay.
I think it's fascinating to think when you're like in a spaceship,
Yeah,
moving at the speed of light, the time isn't traveling at the same amount of time. And if you return to Earth, everyone's like older and dead, and you're still like a few months older. That's it. The closer you to the speed of time, the slower your personal time goes.
well, and that's the interesting part of this, because there's so many different theories and there's so many different ideas on how that would work, but theoretically that is the main thing. Like if you traveled the speed of light, so far out, and you returned, the people on Earth would be technically older. So that is a theory that, is pretty concrete, and that's, what is that one called? That's the time dilation theory, theory of relativity. Einstein had to do with, but Madman Markham, yeah, he's got all this stuff going, and he starts throwing in a screw
Well, he
and metal
also
objects.
tries to scale his projects too quickly
Well, yeah.
because
How quickly did it take him to get the transformers off the poles,
I don't know.
or did he just connect to them?
He just connected to them. The
Yeah.
transformers came from like the substation near his house.
God.
And I love the way he's all, they weren't using them, you know? So I got two buddies and a pickup truck, and we started hauling them back to my place. And then we ran a cable from the power, Edison lines to the, not converters. What are they? Transformers.
Transformers, yeah.
And, we set it up that way. So the more I think about this too, now that right, this is kind of a BS story.
Right. I mean, you can make it sound good, you really can. You start talking about all of this, and he starts talking about distorting, time itself within that area. And that's where, I mean, later on, in the second interview, he talks about him actually traveling, I think 2 years into the future, was it? Or something like that. And he ends up like in Ohio, in Fairfax, Ohio, somewhere.
In a field in Fairfax, can't remember his name, doesn't know who he is.
Took him a while to
ID, and then, I remember my social security number.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of nah.
Yeah. Because he did disappear for the longest time, and then
probably because his friends were looking for him.
Well, the last time Art Bell, before Art Bell passed away, was in 2015. And that's when he just kind of recapped with Art Bell on Midnight in the Desert. And after that, Art Bell passed away, and, he kind of, vanished. But, he continued on with the story, of course, because Madman Markham is kind of Art Bell, coast to coast lore. So, but yeah, no, he starts talking about all kinds of things that this is causing, this Jacob's ladder and everything. He's tweaking and fixing, and he gets more power. And when he gets more power, he gets more electrical arcing. He gets distortion that you can see. And this is when he starts to throw stuff in there, Dave. And I think it's the screw we want to really focus on, or it's not even really nothing to focus on, is it?
Well, then you had a caller later on, as everyone in the chat is talking about screwdrivers, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, ready to have a drink.
My grandmother would, that's for sure. Did you know when I was like 8, I had a screwdriver? We were driving from LA to Phoenix, and I was in the back of the truck. You could ride in back of the trucks.
Yeah.
And, had breakfast on the road, and into the thermos, had some orange juice. I'm like, this orange juice tastes like bunkus. And my grandmother was like, oh no, I gave you a screwdriver. So
yeah, the thing with Madman Markham too was he really, and this is why like Art Bell didn't really question him. I mean, he never gave any equations for what he was doing. It was like he was just putting a clay project together, and it's just going to work. But no peer-reviewed science, no repeatable demonstrations of it. Like he never videotaped or got anything. You took his word for it.
It made him sound like a prodigy. Yeah. Like, of course this fits together. Yeah, I live in the backwoods, and my parents were brother and sister. But I know this material. And it was, even now I'm getting pissed because I do see how ridiculous it is when even he's not caught stealing the Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Is caught because one of his buddies is overshooting a BB gun, and it knocks out the glass window of a neighbor, and the neighbors call the police on him. And when the police show up, then they see like the Transformers.
Yeah. The thing is, and really quick, Connie Clary, here's me and Chris W Tuesday stream. They're interviewing Swan and Crimson Mackenzie on their channel. Swan's book, The Convincer. So if you want to check that out, she's got the link there in the chat. So there you go. But I would say, Dave, that
Yes.
he was doing something because there were brownouts, there were power outages. He's got a criminal record of stealing these things, and like you said, the window blew out. But was he just nuts? And he was doing things with electricity that he shouldn't be doing, because anybody could connect electrical, like a Tesla coil, large enough to where you can get these explosions and stuff and just blow out windows and have brownouts and stuff like that, you know. This dude could have been nuts. He had an extension cord out to plug somewhere, and he's lucky he didn't die. You know,
Who was that in Christmas Vacation? Was it Cousin Eddie?
Cousin Eddie, yeah, in the RV,
Eddie.
yeah. Well, no. When he was trying to, when the father was, Chevy Chase was trying to light up the deers and the Santa Claus, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Jiminy Christmas. Focus. But then he goes like this, and he puts the cords together, and it goes, and then the whole house lights up. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, back to the show. No, but yeah, no, he's in later interviews, he claimed he tested on hamsters, guinea pigs, and other small objects. But the screw itself would go in, and it would pop back somewhere else, like a little farther away.
And I remember
maybe he's nuts, and he just threw it over there.
Maybe he threw it in, it bounced on something and ricocheted. But he does talk, and then a later caller calls, and I've never heard this, where you've got these like quartz rocks, and there's a metal screw in them. Like, how did it get there? I've never heard of that.
I've heard of that before, where they tried just like experiments with electricity, because the electricity going through the quartz rock itself. This
is archaeological expeditions where they're digging like for dinosaurs or whatever, and they pull up a quartz rock millions of years old, let's say, and there's a screw in the center of it. How did it get there? Type of thing. And I've heard stories of
depends what kind of screw it was. Is it ancient? From the ancient times, it was made of a metal that we just, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Is it one you got from Lowe's and it's just somebody screwed it in there? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's funny right now on Oak Island, which I'm not watching this season. They find this, old coin, right?
Skinwalker Ranch is starting up soon, but go ahead.
I heard keep finding 7.
Yeah.
Still interested.
So they keep finding this coin.
They find like an old coin.
Yeah.
Who's to say that no one brought that old coin a week ago to the island and dropped it, or something like that. So there's
I haven't watched The Curse of Oak Island, stuff like that. I mean, you can't really use it, I don't think, unless there were facts behind where it was found underneath slate rock deep in I don't know, something like that. But Skinwalker Ranch, they actually do got some real stuff, it seems, going on. But
they've got
They're
to.
going to talk about it for 20 years without freaking digging into the side cliff there and just get the UFO out if that's what you think it is. Anyways, Alfred gifted a membership. Oh, well, look at this. Thank you very much. Gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Alfred. At level 2 support. Thank you. And Joan. What's going on, Joan? Welcome to the show. Sunday Fun Day. You received the gift membership. I jumped the gun, Dave. Yes, I did. Thank you, Alfred. Really appreciate it. Joan might not even be here. People got some, I don't know. I think the screw is a physical effect rather than a bit of hardware. Hey, Pander. Been a long time. I haven't seen you in a little while. And here he says, I've been shocked by 220 volts. I'm not experimenting with electricity, nor would I. Skinwalker Ranch is one big portal, in my opinion. Well, there's a lot more going on than that.
But I wanted to bring up too, because you have that portal that emerged and the figure crawled out of it, dropped to the ground and stuff like that. Yeah. I think that's your time travel and your windows into other dimensions.
Well, Skinwalker Ranch, you see what's above that, the mesa there.
You got a dome?
It's
dome that's like 2,000 feet in radius?
Yeah, and they're saying it's a portal itself that's probably an entrance for these UFOs that keep coming and going, or UAPs, which really annoy me that they keep. I know it's the new term. I'm one of those guys who never going to go for you. They had to change it. I don't know why. UFO sounds better. Unidentified flying object. Because it's not flying. Some of these aren't flying. Some of them are flown. Well, unidentified aerial phenomenon. How about that? Oh, Dave, stop. Maybe there are MIMs. The Greys, the MIMs.
First of all, I think the dome, and we're going to talk Skinwalker Ranch for a moment.
Okay.
I think that big dome is a protective shield of the UFO that is hovering over. It's an invisible UFO or something like that over the mesa. That's why all the weird stuff happens within there. The big giant UFO mothership is in the mesa. That's where it crashed years ago.
But that round vortex that they can't see, but they do see through lasers and the other equipment they're using, stuff isn't technically over the mesa where the supposed 100-foot long metal object. It's nearby.
And it's over the triangle. It's near Homestead 1 or 2. But I think it has something to do with the UFO, whether it is a homing beacon going, hey, I'm over here, send help, type of thing, like a flare. Or I think it's maybe some escape module.
Escape module.
I don't know what's going on there. It's weird and I'm tired of them firing rockets up through them. It's like they're little kids who, we're going to fire a rocket. You've already done that. You've already flown drones through there. Why don't you just set off a bomb in the middle of the thing and see what happens, right?
Them drive with those rockets are driving me crazy, Dave.
God.
Well, let's get more action going. I say we shoot more rockets up there. It seems to happen every time we do the rockets. That really drives like they're little kids. Hey, Sally, what's going on? J.O.P. I said hello already, I think. Practical effects over CGI and UFO over UAP. There you go. 100%. And Sally Skellington. Wait, what's this? Woohoo Mothership is on the Earth. Yeah, I did a nice little short. I got some old interviews of some UFO crashes and stuff like that archived from, like yesterday was 50 or 46, 56, whatever. Anyways, let's get back to Madman Markham, Dave, if you want.
Not really, but Ed Stathis says, if you send one of my Hawaiian shirts through time, Magnum PI comes back.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, as long as he's not wearing those short shorts, we're going to be okay.
Oh, the buzz. Listen, that's my whole point. Dig the frickin' mesa. Get equipment up there and go 40 feet below. And then you'll see if there's actually a metal object there.
There's got to be, because they keep finding pieces of it.
There's,
And
of course,
ceramic.
there's got to be,
We
and all
know
the facts show it, Dave.
We
But-
know there's ceramics. We know that they're heat shields. We know there's something in there.
There's something in there. But they won't dig. Instead, they're going to have a millionaire who owns this, you know. They just want to get a listen. I'm confused, Dave. You know, if you're really after answers, don't delay and give us cliffhangers and, you know, clickbait, you know, for it's just, this is the stuff that I'll tell you what's interesting is the stuff that's being released right now.
Oh, from the government, yes.
Yes. War.gov/UFO. And you'll find videos upon videos of these objects zooming across. They just released more. I mean, it's unbelievable. What's going on here? Let's see.
I was just thinking, it's videos of UAPs, but we can't use that term.
You can if that's what you believe in. You know, I just can't, you know, just can't go with it. But yeah, Madman Markham, Art Bell just really loved that. He was he seemed really to speak his mind very well, and that's it. You know, like I said, he did interview him a little later on and talked about animals going in and disappearing, the hamsters, the guinea pigs, small objects. You know, he said some disappeared temporarily, some returned disoriented, which would go to his story, Dave. I'm pointing to you on the screen like you can see me like, hey Dave, what are you doing? Which we can actually get to that now, I would think. I mean, we got more stuff to talk about, because later on he does in 2015, you know, what's happened since all of this has taken place with Madman Markham. He says he went in and he went 2 years into the future, if I'm not mistaken. And he ended up, like we said, far away in Ohio, in a field. Took him a while to orient himself, and took him a while to just get his bearings straight again. I mean, I'm talking about weeks and weeks. There were rumors he was homeless. There were temporary social media accounts where he was in Hawaii, stuff like that. But since then, probably just out there doing whatever, right? I mean,
it reminds me of Mel's Hole in a way. And I'm wondering if maybe that is just a repeated theme for Art, where you've got all of a sudden the government taking this guy's property and they're paying him off, and all you got to do is go to Australia. Well, maybe they paid what's his name off to go to Hawaii, and he was just dumb enough to come back.
Well, that I can see a lot more than some of the other stuff, because hello, Karen, good to see you. Mel's Hole is a bit different, even though there's holes all through the Pacific Northwest, you know, and they're old volcano tubes, lava tubes that created all these tunnels throughout the Pacific Northwest, which ended up making other holes, caves, and this and that and whatever and whatnot. But this is an endless hole. And there are other holes like this up in that region, Dave.
Yeah.
But the interesting part of Mel's Hole is the government came, bought it, covered it up, and you can't get to it.
And they blurred it out on Google Maps or Google World or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So that's got some evidence, you know, behind it. Whereas we're going to walk away from Madman Markham as an interesting story and a great Art Bell show. And he let the guy speak his his truth.
How do you explain then the arresting officer calling? Or do you think that guy was just like total like, hey, I'm going to play into this. I'm the arresting officer.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So the arresting officer calls up, and Man Markham knew him and called each other by name. And then there was a little like awkwardness. Like, are you guys friends? And no, we're not friends. And the guys all, look, I had to pull a search warrant. And when we got there, it was 11 o'clock at night, and Mike had been to sleep, and we had to wake him up and had him get dressed and marched him out and, searched the home and found the converters and all of this stuff because it's on the back patio. But now the back patio's enclosed. So it's not like, it's an open patio and all that.
Yeah.
He's all like, I'm just worried about him, doing stuff that's going to get him killed. It was kind of like the guy was saying, hey, it's cool you're doing this, but don't kill yourself over it.
Right. Well, and don't steal $30,000 Transformers before you get yourself in trouble. No, I think the guy, and yes.
Then he starts talking about the cigarette lighter he made from a microwave. What is that about? How do you do that?
How
do you carry that in your pocket?
Dave, I don't know. I don't think there really was that cigarette lighter. I think he made something, but I think he put a story around what he made, because I think he did. I think Madman Markham was an individual who liked to tinker around with things. And I think he got out of hand criminally, okay, but he got out of hand, and that the call from the sheriff validating that, yes, I saw these things, but a sheriff's going to go in there and go, what the heck is this stuff? It's just electrical stuff and other things that looks scientific-y to me. I mean, whatever. I just think he just had a few screws loose, like some of the, and he really wanted to, and he was lucky, and he didn't die, but he was tinkering with things and nothing came of it. I think he put these stories to them.
Now, to also lean to you saying that this is maybe a false story, I looked up his phone number that he gave.
Yeah.
There is no listing of him ever having that phone number.
Could be part of the story. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, when you get down to it, it is what it is. Madman Markham. It sounds interesting. Anytime you hear of a guy putting together a time machine and trying to work with it and do his, experiments, sounds cool.
Then they're asking him, like, where do you want to go back to? And where does he want to go back to? He wants to go back. Now, keep in mind, this is 1995, 96.
Yeah.
I want to go back and see who killed Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yeah, no. Well, I think I state my case.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do, you wouldn't want to go back and see maybe the dinosaurs or
that's one of
my Roman Empire.
If you had a chance and you could be completely safe, like the Time Machine in H.G. Wells' movie, where are you going back to? What events do you want to see in this world?
I mean, there's a long list, but I mean, boy, you're throwing it out there now to me. The first thing that pops to my head, what would I want to see first? If I was in a time machine, I'm not going to go off the deep end and get like religious on people or anything like that. So I'm not going to go there. But I will say I'm so entranced with Roman civilization that I think that's something that I might, want to visit first. There is the Great Pyramid. If I could, the day it was built, I could be there or pinpoint the day it was built, I mean, that's something too, you know what I mean? So yeah, but not, 10 years from now. I want to go back 10 years. And although I don't know, if you could change something in your life, would you do
Our
it?
personal lives.
Well, it depends too. How many times can we go back? Is it just one time?
Ooh.
Okay, because if we can go multiple times, there's a lot of regrets that, people make in their life that, boy, I could go back and change this.
See, the chat's coming up with a lot of good things.
Oh,
So, like J.O.B. like you says about the pyramids, but also the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That would be a really neat thing. And then for Harry Scott, you've also got the assassination of Julius Caesar right on the floor of the Senate, which may be something you'd like to see for the Roman Empire.
yeah, yeah. A gladiator fight, in the big arena. I mean, that would be great. I'm with Dino on dinosaurs, except my luck, I'll land in the T-Rex lair. Yeah. I mean, that's the only scary part with that, right? Time travel back to
But
the
to
time of the
find
day.
out now if they have feathers,
Right.
that I
Right.
think would be really neat. You'd be able, even for yourself, just to have some comfort knowing I know how the pyramids are created. I know what dinosaurs actually look like. Sin City Jim, that is so funny.
That is funny.
Um,
In the year 2525.
for me, I am going to go see the crucifixion of Christ. I think that is a really important event. I want to
Yeah.
see the sinking of the Titanic. I want to see it hit the iceberg.
So you'd go onto the ship
No, no, no. I would be
on a
floating
raft?
in an air in my UFO.
Oh, yeah, okay. If it's a time machine where you can just like be there and visualize what's happening
Yes.
type of thing. Yeah, yeah. But what if it's like the time machine, the movie where you got to, some Morlocks may pull it into a cave, I mean.
That would be bad. And I don't want to see the end of civilization, the end of man, the end of the
No,
planet, where you
no.
just have these things plopping into the ocean.
Well, and I don't want to get religious really to either, but to go back to the crucifixion, I guess that goes to that depends on people's beliefs, right? I mean, do you really want to go back there and see somebody be, I mean, tortured for
That I don't want to see, but
days and days and I mean, it's and if you believe him to be the almighty son of God, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's torture. Anyways,
there is a wonderful set of books. It's 2 volumes.
yeah.
It's called What If? And it's all these historians talking about what would happen if D-Day didn't happen. What would happen if Christ wasn't crucified? You have this emblem that is the most important in Christianity.
Yeah.
What if that didn't happen? All of a sudden the icon is gone. I would love to, also go back and see Da Vinci painting the Last Supper or the Mona Lisa,
Yeah.
something like that. I'd
Well,
love to see relatives that I never saw in real life.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
No. I would love that to go back to Jack the Ripper. I would love to follow along, and see what's going on there. Try to break. But again, there's the plague going on. So, can we get inoculated before we go? I mean, somehow. I mean, I know there's no
It would
inoculation.
be, in a bubble, a time machine bubble. So we could
Yeah,
not.
okay. So there's the rules. So yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Victorian uh London would be a favorite of place for me to visit. I'm just so enthralled with that time period.
Could we dress the part and interact? That would be amazing. It'd be like that. Did you see that episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, where the holodeck becomes a Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes story?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
The Next Generation. Love it, love it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say on Madman Markham, is there?
I don't either. But I also,
Unless you want to.
along the same lines, do you believe any of the videos, stories, pictures that we see of olden days and someone's got something next to their head that looks like a cell phone? I don't.
All of those pictures seem to have popped up when we were able to manipulate photographs. So I don't think there's ever been anything that was, I could say, oh my God. Yeah, no, I haven't seen nothing. I really haven't. They all look fake. We've also got the reptilians, in the pictures of, political parties and stuff like that too. And, it's like, really? Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He did a show, and I think we covered it in a Ghost to Ghost, where there was a presidential debate between Bush and Gore, and there was a like an evil demon between them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen and Albert. And J.O.B. says about Amelia Earhart's last flight when she disappeared. I think the same would be true for the guy who was the union boss who disappeared, who's allegedly buried under Giant Stadium.
Jimmy Hoffa.
I think it would be fascinating to finally learn what happened to him as well. So.
Oh, he's in concrete. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
I mean, that's what's going on there.
Swimming with the fishes.
So yeah, Madman Markham, that's that. It is top of the hour, and then I want to dive into single 7 for a little bit, and then we'll just talk about time travel in general, like we've been doing. Okay. But how many thumbs up do we got, Dave? Let me see.
You better have 50. That's all I'm saying.
51. Woo! Yeah, very good. Very good. We got 51 thumbs up. Thank you very much, everybody. Please hit that thumbs up button. Thank you to everybody who gifted memberships. And Dave, what in the heck do we got coming up here? I listed us out a couple months, I think. So a lot of stuff. What's coming up next week?
Next week, Wednesday, is going to be a Dino evening with what are you, this or that?
Would you rather? Yeah. The horror icons, Pinhead, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, Ghostface, stuff like that. So some really good ones.
On Sunday next week, we're going to be doing Night Gallery.
Night Gallery, finally.
In fact, March 1st was the last time we did Night Gallery. So fantastic for May 31st. Pickman's Model, which is a H.P. Lovecraft story. I can't wait to get to that. The Dear Departed and An Act of Chivalry. Ooh. On June the 7th, we're going to be jumping into the second season of Scooby-Doo.
Zoinks! The podcast. That was weak.
And then we have In Search Of, episodes 3 and 4, about ancient aviators and the Bermuda Triangle. If you haven't seen the thumbnail, that looks really wonderful too.
Thank you.
The Wild Wild West, The Night of the Howling Night. Oh, that'll be on June 21st, and we'll finish out June with A Circle of Fear and The Summer House.
Nice. Circle of Fear. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. So there you go. So yeah, and every Wednesdays, would you rathers for the next coming week, but be sure to be ready for the games every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So there you go. There we go, Dave. So I'll tell you what, single 7, this was another time traveler call. And single 7 is his military, what do you call it?
Like his ID? He's from 2063, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
And
2063.
the idea is that we've just invented time travel around 2051.
2051 is when we discover time travel. Yes. So I can't wait if I'm alive. I should be alive. Oh yeah.
It'll be pretty close.
Yeah, I should should be alive.
We
But
might
this
be having soup for dinner that during that age.
ship my pea soup. Oh man, time travel. Here I come. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but you're a little too old to get on there. If you didn't have metal hips, you know, we'd let you on. But oh, you sons of bitches, you god damn. Oh, I'd be pissed, Dave.
But we'd still have Final Destination movies being produced.
I also would, oh my God, please no. And they would still be trying to figure out Skinwalker Ranch
Maybe, yeah.
and the Curse of Oak Island. And I hope I'm not talking like that at that age either. Oh, you better let me. I mean, am I going to talk like that then? I don't know.
How else are you going to talk?
Hi, I'm 95. I mean, listen, William Shatner still speaks fine.
He does.
He does. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Depends what I got. Catherine Hepburn here, and I want to go on that time travel.
What is with Catherine Hepburn?
I don't know. She would never get in her negligee for me.
And stay out of my brain. She reminded me a little bit of Eileen Brennan.
Okay.
As an older woman and had the shaky voice and everything like that.
Yeah. It's just something that I gotta do. Me and Bogey, we made love like we were two wild rabid possums. This is what we did.
What movie was she in with Bogey? Was it The African Queen?
I do believe that's it. Yeah.
It was, yeah. Because her relationships were with Howard Hughes. And I'm like, what do you see in her? And
she slept with all of Hollywood. I'm sorry.
Well, there's Tallulah Bankhead.
Gary Cooper. Yeah. She talked to him a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a glass of wine, Gary. Yeah. Here's my key to my room.
Oh boy.
Or they'll just let you in. I'll keep the door open. Okay, anyways, back to Single Seven. Single Seven was the name given. His real name was Jonathan, aka Jonathan. He was a rogue traveler from 2063. What he called himself was a farmer. Okay, so this was from 1998, Art Bell. And it was soon after the Papua New Guinea tsunami when it took place. And he was really worried about, I think, the area where Art Bell lived. So he thought he'd call in because he was a fan. Am I wrong?
Well, didn't he he was concerned about climate change?
Well, that was the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was concerned about Art and Ramona.
And I was a little confused. He said, okay, so the thing is, he has these, he's a rogue traveler through time. Okay. Yes. He's got these, I don't know, I forget what he called them. Did you write it down? Like vector groups of people, basically people coming after him. The time travel police were coming after him.
Yes. And they occasionally run into him. And so it's so funny because how you didn't believe Man Markham. I really didn't believe Single Seven.
Oh, I didn't listen. I didn't believe Single Seven either, but there's a lot of things in here that I wanted to bring up just to prove the point too, because it's like, come on, because what he says too, he says, okay. Oh, I love that his job was, he was a paleo ag tech. And that basically, he was a farmer.
Yes.
Okay. So nice name, but his job was to bring back the purest of vegetable seeds that would withstand high temperatures because, and this is, help me along here, Dave, the grays, he refers them to the MIMS, are trying to cool down the planet.
Right.
And our
Because-
job as humans are to raise the temperature.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we've got issues, and a lot of people deal with, like, oh, how bad global warming is, things like that.
Yeah.
Global cooling is just as bad, if not worse. When we have cooler temperatures, that's when we tend to have things like the plague coming through, crop failure coming through, things like that. And
I'm almost there myself. This. No, jeez. I'm sorry. Go ahead, dude.
That's all right. And so Single 7 is looking for these precursors to like wheat and barley and things like that, that he can then harvest and bring forward into his time of 2063.
Yeah, basically that was his job as a farmer, to go and do that because their job was to raise the temperature by 15 degrees, which, if I do remember correctly, Art Bell said would be devastating to our world.
Right.
And I think Art Bell brought it up. And he said it would kill millions of people, but it would save many more. And it would get rid of the grays, the MIMS, who are trying to, what they're trying to do. See, it's complicated. Okay. The premise here is that what this time traveler said, Jonathan, he says that most of the universe is in the fourth dimension, and that our little area here with our solar system is special. It's special in a way that we're in the third dimension. Okay. So where most life in the rest of the universe live in the fourth dimension, the grays are capable of entering into the third dimension, but it's not easy. And they go back and forth. So they're trying to basically take over this area and tinker around a bit and cool the temperature enough. I guess they had something to do with making this more of a fourth dimension than a third. I was a little confused with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of is the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Single 7, I would have rather had the guy that was triangulated upon with all his secrets of Area 51.
Oh God. I mean, come on. Of course. I mean, that's a given. But I did catch him in a couple things. Let's see. The Greys want the linear aspect of time, that third dimension, like I said, allowing them to time travel. So that was his point. It's not easy for them to go from fourth to third to fourth without that.
Brings up, how do we time travel?
Well, and we could talk about the paradox. Let's hit that first.
Yes,
that good old question, the paradox problem, where if you go back in time and kill somebody, will it affect the history, and will it affect the future? Like if I go kill, say my parents, when I get back, would I even be alive? How would the world look? Would my family still be around? And again, I think Michio Kaku has talked about this, the string theory, the worm theory. Which theory is it? There's so many theories out there, but it's basically where we don't have to worry about the paradox problem. There's so many, like, lines that go off the main line. You know what I mean? There's the main vein. Wait, what? Oh, geez. And then there's a lot of capillaries that break off. So basically, you go back in time, you kill your parents. That future that you came from is still there. It continues. But where you are in that time
Creates a whole new universe.
creates a whole new split where you're probably not going to be there. Your parents aren't going to be there. It changes in its own way. You know what I mean? Right, Dave?
Yes,
Okay. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I do. I always think back at, events like World War II. If we happen to kill somebody in that war and all
Yeah.
millions of people end up living, what a different world that would be.
Did Bubba do that? I'm sorry. There's
Thank you, Bubba.
what happened? Panderjet got blocked. Did he get blocked? Did Pander get blocked for a certain reason? Let's see. We're stuck in time machine. Let me get you back if you're still there. I know Pander for a long time. Probably was an accident. All you got to do is, so I unblocked Pander. Pander, you're unblocked. So there you go. Dave, you're muted. What? Are you joking with me? Yes, because I can hear other stuff.
I just needed to get up and turn off the fan, and I have to do that in a wild way, so I had to block my video.
Oh, okay.
I did not time travel.
No, yeah. Well, you're in a delay, so you're trying to catch up to yourself.
Well, I'm now in a future.
So you're kind of
person
in a time travel type situation.
I really agree.
You are a mem. So yeah, I think that's the paradox problem, and it's not a problem because I do believe it just veers off. I think there's just many different tributaries, right? Yeah,
I agree, but I also don't believe in the theory of there's every time you make a decision, there's an alternate universe. If you go from, if you make a left-hand turn on this street, well, if you made a right-hand turn, you have a different, outcome, things like that. I always think about, one time I was driving home and I made a left on a street I don't normally turn left on, but I just did because the left-hand signal light was on green. Right. And then I got in a car accident, right?
Uh-huh.
And if I had just gone down 2 more signals to the street I normally turn on, there's a whole nother universe where I would not have gotten hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah.
And my friends are all, you got to be careful doing that because maybe there was another drunk driver down there that could have killed you. So by making a street turn on a wrong street and you actually had a better outcome.
Right. And I think Michio Kaku, who is the Carl Sagan of the day, really describes this string theory in a way that it is infinite. I mean, there are infinite possibilities. Like you got to also think that time is irrelevant. So that on top of the string theory, which you say you take a different way, you're on another vibration. Then you look at the universe too, that Dave, though, you see how big it is, and like we're like a grain of sand in all the beaches of the world, is what we are here, our solar system. Yeah. I mean, it's just, if you think of that the same way in, how many different paths you can take and how many different, lives are being lived, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's complicated. I don't know. Am I just going off the rails?
And it's scary. It really
is scary to think about.
Michio Kaku who was on one of my morning programs I used to listen to like 10 years ago. They
Yeah.
called Michio Cuckoo. And it cracked me up a little bit because this guy is so scary of telling us what the future is really going to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be able to, like, you know, identify cancer right when it begins. We're going to have glasses that are going to change the idea of recognizability, like, you know, oh, that's so and so, and you're going to see a printout of who that person is, where they live, there's their phone number, here's our previous interactions.
That'll be happening in the next couple of years or so.
If they speak a different language, it'll translate the language for us. And that's scary to me. You know, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Really? That scares you?
Yeah.
Huh.
I like things the way that they are.
Okay. Well, listen, there's a piece of me where I love the past. I wish phones weren't a thing. I wish,
well, as you know,
cable wasn't a thing. I wish there was just the way it was in the 70s, kind of, or even, you know, there's times where I'm like, even the 30s or 40s, but, you know, then you think of
going back to Smoke of Chesterfield in the 1920s and 30s. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. I don't mind reading films, you know, with,
you know, I saw an interview that there was a woman, she was 104 years old, and the guy was interviewing her, and he goes, "What's your secret to long life?" And she goes, "A shot of bourbon every day at 4." And basically she's taking a shot of bourbon every day, mid-afternoon, past 70 years. I mean, whatever, you know what I mean? And her husband did the same. But I think it goes to tell you that, you know, genetics, there's something with, you know, the way our makeup is, you know, and not that we can't affect the way we live by weight and what we eat and stuff like that, but we're really veering off of time travel. But
we are. But even then, when you think about, are we going to be the last generation to die?
You know what? AI is going to come up with a way that telomeres, because that's, at least scientifically, we know that the telomeres are what make us age. And if we could slow the growth of those telomeres, then yeah, we could live forever, I would think. But in AI, I'm sure there's a way that they're going to figure out that, yeah, we can do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And will it come in our lifetime, Dave? And if so, would you take advantage of that?
100%.
Would you?
Yep.
Even if it's 20 years from now and we're really in, well, you know what? I would think if we're at the point to where we can live forever, I think we can start reconstructing and making our bodies younger as well. Because the aging process, I think, the reversal of that would go along with that, I would think, right? Oh, my wrinkles are going away. The gray's going from my hair. I'm getting in shape. You know, finally testosterone is being released in my body again. I'm building up yeah. I mean, I think if we can do that, I think we can reverse age as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the physical reasons that we know of, at least so far. Listen, I'm blowing air out, you know, certain places, but you know, you get what I'm saying here. I mean, you know, I even think reversing of age is going to be possible if we can figure out how to live forever or slow aging, you know, all that's, yeah, I think it's totally possible. But yeah. Great conversation, Dave.
Thank you. Cheers.
Needed a sip of ginger ale. Let's see. Use AI to make junk food like ice cream and Doritos. So the ways that I guess before we go, time travel is the first one, like I told you, time dilation, real proven forward time, like, running faster, all that good stuff. The faster you move, the slower time passes for you and relatives and others. Strong gravity also slows time. And then all that other good stuff. Wormholes are another one where they say, but what's his name again? Oh my God, Silver Seven, Single Seven. Oh, I didn't even get to this too. He says, I know you don't want to talk about him. He says going back in time to kill someone because Art Bell asked him, well, what happens if you go back in time and you kill somebody? And he goes, well, if you like say, go back and kill all the slaves who built the pyramids, that's kind of a gotcha, right? Because I don't know, unless it is true that there were slaves who built the pyramid, but I think there was something more to it. But him saying that says that, okay, they were built by slaves, thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands or trillions. I don't know. That's a lot.
Well, for the
I know.
I don't think the pyramids were built by slaves. Number one, there's not enough slaves.
Right.
Number two, where do all the slaves stand? Because you need thousands and thousands and thousands of them.
Oh, yeah.
And Graham Hancock does this great mathematical thing of the idea of if you are bringing a ramp, pulling, the slaves, pulling up these blocks on top of the pyramid, and you can only do 10 feet horizontal for every 1 foot vertical.
Yeah.
Do you know how big of a ramp you need?
Oh, yeah.
And he goes,
such a mile long. Yeah.
He goes, you need a long effing ramp. And he goes, it's mathematically, he goes, the ramp would be the exact amount of material that's actually in the pyramid.
Right.
And he goes, then where do you disperse all that material? So I think we need, a time machine to see how the pyramids were built.
Oh, yeah. And I also thought that when he talked about the Greys, he said they were not hybrid, but a race similar to ants. They were not hybrid like a lot of people say they are. So, but who's to take? Go ahead.
Joe Rogan said recently is that the Greys aren't even alive or human; they're machines.
Well, and that's what, like, Art Bell's had guests on, David Pleiades and others who have talked about them being somewhat of a hybrid, like a robot. And that's why they kind of formed to the UFO itself and all this other stuff. So, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't believe they're totally like blood. Well, maybe, I don't know. Interesting. Anything else I wrote down here?
I don't know.
2038, he says they found the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia in 2038. That's pretty soon. Well, it's about 12 years away.
It's not long.
Yeah, it's not that long. And he also said another way he talked about neural augmentation that they had in the year 2068. It reminded me of Strange Days with Juliette Lewis. It was where they put the brain probes on there or whatever, and it allowed you to see like somebody else's life because they would videotape it, but the neurons would make you believe you're living it. So that was interesting. And this was before Strange Days, so I thought that was interesting. But anyways,
there's a movie called Dreamscape that was like that.
Well, Dreamscape was with Dennis Quaid. That was basically mind to mind.
Yeah.
Like they would get in the other person's mind and physically like try to kill them. And it was a form of physical warfare or whatever. Anyways, I don't know. And Andrea, what's going on? Good to see you.
Yeah,
I
do you believe Skinwalker Ranch is a wormhole exit type of thing, or
do I think that?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to talk Skinwalker Ranch again, yeah, I mean, of course. I think hovering above the triangle is the ground, and there's a dome, and then they've got that lidar that detected below it. It was getting hits of, so there's a complete circle,
right?
half above ground, half below, that serves as a portal of sorts. I do believe that. Um, Yeah, I think that, yeah, listen, I don't know what more to say. They've done everything they possibly could uh, to figure this out, and I don't know what you do. I would literally, if I was doing the show Skinwalker Ranch, I would literally say, set me right in the middle. I don't know how I would do it, but set it up so that whatever wavelength or frequency we need to set, put me there, set it, and I will sit there until something happens. If I disappear, I disappear. Then you guys will know that this is a portal or something. But I get back to the point, Skinwalker Ranch, they need to go to the mesa, dig 40 feet deep. It's only 40 feet deep, Dave.
It's not much.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah,
We build underground parking structures that are deeper than that.
should we offer our like, we'll take 2 shovels, me and you, and it could take months, but we'll do it.
That dirt's pretty heavy.
Dave, we can do it though.
I have a bad back.
We'll use the little plastic sand
It's hot.
bucket. 180 p. What is it? EFP? What's the suntan? I'm getting goofy now.
SPF.
SPF. I don't even know what I'm saying, Dave.
I mean, as long as I don't have to wear that big hat that one
Speedo.
guy does.
Yeah, we don't need you in a lounge chair and a Speedo and lemonade just cooling off. Dave, get back here and shovel. What the hell are you doing over there? Scaring off the aliens? Yeah, that's
I want them
no
to.
man should. I don't care if you're in good shape. You shouldn't be laying like that. No Speedos for men. Or half shirts.
I have a story for you after we're off air.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I guess we got through that, right, Dave?
Barely.
Barely, yeah. Who would have thought it would be tough to talk about Madman Markham? I don't know.
I'm glad we did, and I'm glad you brought up the fact that it could be a very fake person in terms of that story.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Well, I mean, I've went back and listened to so many Art Bell shows that you catch them just on the facts alone.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of the people who came on and were like Sean David Morton. This guy was like talked about as like the prophet. Everything he says comes to fruition in Art Bell's eyes, but you listen to what he said, Dave, and I'm like, when did that happen? When did that happen? That didn't happen. I mean, and I think he's still going. Of course, he's still on podcasts. He's still getting by, as far as I know. But anyways, I don't know.
I still think the biggest BS artist that I heard on his show was the Dallas guy, Dallas Thompson,
yeah,
who was going to go into the hole of the earth and what Admiral Byrd found and things like that. But then
yeah,
you started mentioning today in northern Oregon, Washington area, you've got all these tubes of lava, and who knows what could be living in terms of ecosystems down there.
Dave, I'll leave it at this and we'll end the show, but think about it. We are on land that is Well, you know that we're on land, dirt.
Yeah.
But think of this. How deep is the earth? And we're just walking around on the surface, Dave, right? Can you imagine what is underneath our feet? Right? Just ponder that. You know what I mean? I mean, we've even in the caves we've found of like under the ocean, the phosphorescence which light caves like a sun, like a group of like whatever mold or whatever fungus is got some kind of phosphorescent that lights the whole cave up, and there's like a lake bed, and you've got plant life that's, I mean, this is not that far underneath the earth. Can you imagine what is underneath there and what is creating, because we're in such a small part of all of this.
Right.
And listen, I guess I can ask AI, calculate how much more surface space would there be within all of that space. And it's unbelievable, probably, right?
Well, it is interesting too. Like for me, I love reading books about the Amazon and about, like uncharted plants and
Yeah.
insects and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have, I don't want to call them villages, but you have people living up in the trees because it's too dangerous to live on the ground.
Yes.
And you have a whole nother ecosystem that's 20, 30 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Animals and insects and interacting and things like that. Maybe there is a whole bunch of things underneath the ground.
100%. We do not explore. We do not explore. It's just too hard. We've explored the ocean and we've gone to the deepest depths and we've seen life that shouldn't be living there. Well, I think we have.
I think there we're only covering just a little bit. Maybe we go to the Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
But it's like we only went to one part of it. That thing is thousands of miles long.
It's hard to get to. We can get to Mars easier than we can get to the Mariana.
And I mean, we're looking at, that's there's a lot of things that scare me. The ocean is one of them.
Yeah.
And it's so vast underneath that water,
That's why I said, think of the dirt, the ground, and how far it goes. Imagine going a straight line from here to the other end, straight diameter, straight through. I mean, what would we hit along the way?
UFOs if we dig in the mesa.
Could you imagine in the middle of our planet, there's just like a moon-size hollow earth inside there where there's like 1 billion inhabitants, living in floating cities. And I mean, can you just imagine? I mean, use your sci-fi mind.
My noggin.
Here's your noggin. Yeah. It's cool to think about these things, life is so weird and intricate. Anyways, congratulations to my son today. He graduated and had the commencement and all that. So onward to my last child. I only had 2. My daughter's older than my last child. I had several children. They all were hardworking. They all had jobs, thank God, except the eldest. Okay, Dave. You have a good week. Happy Memorial Day to everybody.
There's a fungus